Hi, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make this fun paw print badge. What you're going to need is any kind of worsted weight yarn, number 4. We're going to be stitching today with a G-hook. You'll need a needle for sewing on your pieces and weaving in your ends, and of course a pair of scissors to clip those yarns. Today's video we're going to be using pink instead of red so we can make it a little bit girly, and we'll be using gray for our edge. Now this is a free pattern on my blog, and I'll put that blog link in the comments. Now you'll notice that it is on this fun little dog or cat cape. And we'll be doing the cape in the next video to go along with this one. So let's go ahead and get started. To get started, the first thing that we're going to do is chain 2. So we'll make our slip knot. And chain 2. 1, 2. Next, we'll be putting 3 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. There's our first one, here's our second one. So we'll be putting 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. Now we are working from the bottom of the point, working up this way, just so you understand what we're doing. All right, now we have those 3 single crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first single crochet. So here's our first single crochet, so we're going to put 2 in there. 1, 2. Then we'll put 1 single crochet in the next single crochet. Make sure I got some yarn out here. And then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the last single crochet. So now we went from having 3 single crochets, we increased to 5. And this gives us our nice point. Then we chain 1, and the chain 1 on all these rows on this badge is only a turning chain and does not count as a stitch. On row 3, we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1 and turn. So now we have those 5 single crochets. Get a little more yarn out here. This isn't unwinding like I wanted it to. All right, the next row we're going to be putting 2 single crochets in the first, then we'll put 1 single crochet in the next 3, and then 2 single crochets in the last one. We'll be increasing by 1 single crochet at the beginning and the end. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first one. Then we'll single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to single crochet in these last 2. 1, 2, chain 1, and turn. And you can see we're starting to get the shape of our badge. Now we have 7 single crochets, and for the next 2 rows we're going to put 1 single crochet in each single crochet. We won't be increasing on these next 2 rows. So we're just going to 1 single crochet in each single crochet. Chain 1 and turn, and 1 single crochet in each single crochet. chain 1 as my yarn rolls off. And you can see we're starting to get a nice shape. Now on this next row we're going to increase again. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first single crochet, 1, 2, then we'll put 1 single crochet in each single crochet across, and then again 2 single crochets in the last. So we went from 7 single crochets to 9. Chain 1 and turn. All right. Now we're going to again repeat 1 single crochet in each single crochet for the next 2 rows, and we won't increase. We'll have 9 single crochets in each single crochet. Chain 1. Let's see if I can get some more yarn out here. There we go. I don't know why it was hanging up on me. All right, 1 more row of 1 single crochet in each single crochet. Now, chain 1. Now we have a nice shape, but we need to make the top part, and it comes in a little. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in the first 2 single crochets. So we're going to just put our hook through like that. Hook through, pull that loop through, and go through that loop. So we single crocheted in the first 2 single crochets. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to leave those last 2 single crochets unworked. So we slip stitched in the first 2 and we're leaving the last 2 unworked. In the last row here, chain 1 and turn, and you're going to put 1 single crochet only in those 5 single crochets in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 2 here that we slip stitched and 2 here that we skipped, and that gives us our shape for our badge. At this point, when we're finished with this color, so we're going to clip our yarn. We're going to tie off and weave in those ends. And next, after we finish since we're finished with this, once we get these tails all worked in, we'll do the outline and the paws. Okay, now we finished weaving in our ends. We used our needle and sewed in those ends and clipped them for a nice finish. And the next thing that you need to do is take your trim yarn and attach it down here at the point, and just slide your hook in and join. And then we're going to be working up the side here across all the way back around, and the way we do that is we put 1 single crochet in the end of each row. Now as you're working along, if you see that it needs another single crochet, that there's too much space, you can add another one. If you've got 2 bunched up together, add another single crochet. That's what happens when you try to evenly single crochet across. You may have to put an extra one or remove one. My thing is I always try to put one at the end of each row, and it helps to me to even it out. Now, once you've single crocheted up to the first corner, in order to go around this corner nicely, you're going to need to put maybe one or two, depending on how it's looking. my thing, I usually do 3, just because I like for it to fit nicely. And then we'll put another one up in this corner. And then we'll work on up. And you have to kind of see how it's going to work and how it's going to fit. And we're at a corner again, because we have a corner, outside corner here, an inside corner here, and an outside. On this top one, I'm just going to put 2, because it's awfully close together. But you can see it's taking on the shape of the badge. All right, let's work across the top. We've got stitches to work in there, which makes it nice. 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. And now we're back to the corner. So I'm going to put 2, since I put 2 on the other side. Now, depending on how loose you stitch, you may want to put 3 there. It's up to you and how tight or loose that you stitch. Put 1 there, and then we're going to move on around here. And then in this corner, I'm going to put 3 again, because I want a nice rounded shaped corner, I think is a better way of saying it. Because you want it to have, you know, nice form. Look, and if you did 3 over here, do 3 over here, so it's nice and the same thing on these 2 corners. So now we're going to work down the side, putting a single crochet in the end of each single crochet row. And like I said, you may have to add an extra one, or you may have to, you know, put a different number of stitches. Just try to make it as even as possible. Everyone stitches differently, so your row may be a little thicker than mine. So now we're back to the corner, the point I should say, and I put 1 in there, and I'm going to put 2 more. Let me move my string out of the way. There we go. I'm going to put 2 more because I want my point to be nice and pointy. Put that string back down. Nice and pointy. Like that. And then I'm just going to make a slip stitch there. And then we'll clip that. And tie that off. Whoops. And now we'll just use our needle again. And stitch that under. Make sure when you're weaving in your gray you don't come through on your pink. You don't want it to show. We'll stitch that under, and we've got this one. There we go. And I'm going to go the other direction just in case. Like that. And we'll go ahead and clip off those ends. So now we have a nice and tidy little badge. Now, this is not an official Paw Patrol badge. I made this before my grandkids fell in love with Paw Patrol. I just thought it was fun. All right, so we need to make the little paws and the pad for the badge. So first we're going to make the little toe pads, that's what I call them. All right, the way we do that is we get our gray yarn or whatever we're using for our paw. We chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to put 5 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to join with a slip stitch to that first chain 2, and we're going to cut. Give yourself a little bit of yarn because we're going to use this one to sew it on. Okay, so let's go ahead and tie that off. And we'll leave that one hanging on because we're going to use this one to sew it on with. But we do want to weave in this one. Get those scissors out of the way. Because we want to close up. Sometimes when you stitch it that way, you get this little hole. So we want to make sure we close up that little hole. So we're going to just go around like that. Oops, I thought that came out of my needle. Let's get that back in there. There we go. Now we'll go back and stitch around. And when you stitch in a circle around like that, just gently pull it in. And then I usually make a couple more stitches because I want it to hold. Get in there. Give it a little bit of a pull and cut. Okay, now you're going to need 3 of these, and I already have 2 made. So we have 3 pads, toe pads, and we'll place them on like this. Now I've already sewed 2 of the pads on, and what I do is I put the center one in first and then I put the other 2 on the sides, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how we do that. Just place it on there and we just make top stitches like this, going around, catching those curl that down so you can see, catching those stitches. There we go. I just go around a couple of times so I know it's held in place good. And then on the back you can see we have a few stitches, so I just kind of go through those like that to hold the yarn on so it doesn't come unstitched. Cut that off, and now we have our 3 little toe pads. So next we need to make the bottom part right here, which is the pad of the dog paw. Let's move our needle out of the way. And the way we do this, let me go and turn this page just to make sure I've got it right. We're going to begin again with our gray yarn, or whatever yarn you're using for your trim. And we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to turn, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. Then we're going to slip stitch in the next 2. So we're just going to go in and pull that loop through. Go in and pull that loop through. Then we're going to single crochet in the last 2 times. 1, 2. Then we're going to turn our work, and we're going to work down those 5 chains on the other side and do exactly the same thing. So we'll put 2 single crochets in the first chain, then we'll slip stitch 1, 2, and then we'll put 2 single crochets, 1, 2 in the last one. Then we'll join to that first single crochet. Cut ourselves a good sized piece of yarn because we're going to use this end to sew on with and tie off. And you can see the shape of the pad. Now you see we have a little hole there. So what we're going to do, we're going to use our needle. We turned it upside down. We're going to use that tail we started with, and we're going to go around back here like this, just to kind of help close that hole. And then we're going to go to the other circle that we made when we made those single crochets at the end, and just give it a good little pull. like that. And then we'll clip that yarn. And this is the back, so we're going to sew it on this way. So, thread our needle. And we do it exactly the same. There we go. There we go. Stitching up and down. There we go. One more this side. Now you have to eyeball it to get it exactly where you want it. But there's our pad. And again, we're just going to put it through a couple of stitches on the back so it doesn't come out. And that's how you make a dog, or cat for that matter, paw badge. You can sew this on a hat, on a coat, on a sweater, on a scarf, a cow or a dog sweater, a dog hat, or a dog cape like this one. Aren't these fun? These are perfect for Halloween costumes too. Well, thanks for watching my video.